Good day, viewers. This is NasTv Africa, an online mentorship platform which we have dedicated to African youth to connect them with their mentors to manifest Africa's greatness. It will interest everyone out there that Africa is well placed in both human and natural resources, but far undervalued, underutilized. Today, we have the privilege of having a digital guru, a young man that has dedicated his life to uplift the life of the youth of Africa through ICT and digital instrument. Good day, sir.
Yeah, good day. Thank you for having me on the show.
Yeah, you're welcome.
My name is Ishola Kayode. I'm the team lead at from a digital and ICT company that is helping businesses to leverage on the power of the internet, the digital world, to do more with their business and also to solve the peculiar challenges of Africa using technology.
Thank you very much. Now, everywhere we go now, everybody talks now is about digital marketing, digital skill. We see governor of state in Nigeria especially talking about the digital training, training for the youth. Given the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic, the digital knowledge has now reached a kind of a presidential level in our society. How do you think digital can help post-COVID-19?
Thank you. The COVID-19 and its other things that have actually come on board with COVID-19 has actually proven to us that the digital world, with the digital platforms, we can actually do almost everything. You know, prior to this time, most people are always still saying that, oh, I don't want to do virtual training, I want you to train me physically, I want you to do this and that. But I always say that necessity is the mother of every invention. Now, if you look at the way things are, when you look at those advanced countries, many of them are not fully it. Like when you talk about the way things really, like I have friends actually that are studying abroad, that despite the fact that this COVID-19 affected us here, that we had to shut down our classrooms, that we couldn't really do stuff. The 2-year master's program that he actually applied to study, that he has been on before the COVID-19 came into play, still completed it at that particular period that has been earmarked. So the point is, they already have the infrastructure like on board, and that really assisted them. And now learning now is not within the 4 walls of classrooms, and like virtually now we have Zoom, we have Google Meet, we have a whole lot of platforms that now are preferring solutions, and those things are now common. Like the first time when I used Zoom, I was in 2018 for a mentorship program. Then that was Microsoft Imagine Leaders project. Then I was selected from Nigeria. So most of our training, not even most, like all the trainings, I was paired with a mentor, a Brazilian mentor and a German mentor, and we did a whole lot of stuff together, like with that platform. So now that opportunity is now on board, and it has actually made us to see that we could actually do things without having to meet people. Several transactions, like especially for people that are in the IT world, it was a very good period for us, because setting up electronic presence platforms for schools, because some of those private schools and some other schools really saw the need to develop platforms that they'll be able to engage their kids, because no one could predict the time the lockdown that was imposed by the government, the time it's going to last. So post COVID-19, we've seen from that we've seen the realities of things, that we could actually still network, get things in place even without meeting people. So I think right now, with that effect of COVID-19, we should be future looking. Let me say, we should now speak those lessons that we learned and develop platforms infrastructure. that will help us to bridge that gap, like that's currently exists between us and other platforms.
Oh, wow, thank you very much. Bridging the gap between the reality, the existing reality, and the future. Good. Now, I can tell you, maybe in Africa, the education, the illiteracy level is at maybe 60-70%. Out of school children in the entirety of Africa, many. And even the people that are in school, the children that are in public school, they do not have the infrastructure to be at par with their mates, with their privileged mates in private schools. How do you think government, the leaders in Africa, can make this digital knowledge to go round to the grassroots of less privileged? Because I do not think, in my own opinion, that if we are advocating digital this, digital that, and we have this large number in our public schools that are not privileged to have access to digital knowledge, what can they do to involve them, to include them in this process of future plans of a digital-driven economy, digital-driven society? And if you don't do this, what are the implications?
Thank you. I really love that question, because when we talk about the digital world, and obviously Africa is behind, because in reality we have been, we are, and we've been, and if we don't change our mindset or the way we do things, we'll still be consumers of technology and not creators of technology. Most of all these technologies that we're talking about, the internet, this and all of that, even down to softwares, apps that we use day to day on our smartphone and all that, they are still being designed by the Western world and all of that. So, to your question, here's how we can do it. We need to engage young people, like into like when we have to engage them critically. And when you talk about engagement, what are the causes of people, kids not going to school? Now, I think the government is trying with this school feeding program. Is also one of those ways to lure kids on board. But it shouldn't just be beyond that. It shouldn't be about that all alone. Now, bringing people, plugging people into the digital grid. Let me use that particular word. Kids are the future. Now, if we can actually get all these young people and we put them on board, like take for instance, there was this project my team at Dictum did early this year. Yeah. We did the pilot phase of the current Kids Tech program that we are now running. We started in Kwara State, whereby we picked 4 schools, 2 public schools and 2 private schools. Now, what we did then with the pilot process, phase then was we chose 2 private primary schools, and we chose 2 public secondary schools, but we focused on GS2 because they still fit in with the age range that we are looking at. So we now decided, okay, we gave the same training to the basic 5 and basic 5 of those kids in primary school, and gave the same training to GS2. Of course, in terms of the age, we'll see. It's logical to say that people in GS2 will be able to do that, but we realized that there was not much disparity. But at the end of the day, we realized that these public school kids, they showed more dedication to enthusiasm to learn. Even though we couldn't complete that program because of COVID this year, but there were some insights that we actually got. Now, most of these public schools, don't let me say most, many of them, they have this computer lab that is not being used. Our approach here is when we just say, okay, let's make provision for ICT center in the school, then they buy maybe 10 or 20 or 30 laptops, like the 2 schools that we serve with the public schools. They have the ICT labs, but and if not for the program then, and even before they agreed to come on board, it's always they are always going there maybe once when they want to type the questions for the next the maybe session or the term, as the case may be. So it was then when I said there are lots of programs we could develop. Now with this program, how we did it then was, okay, we installed on those computers the software. We're working with Scratch. Scratch is an MIT-based software that introduces kids into coding. So, and it has a very good user interface, a block-based programming language. So when we brought those things, those kids were fascinated, and we were now able to put into good use the infrastructure that was actually, because most of this thing, they just say, okay, we have a computer lab, and they are not doing anything. So if they could replicate those models in all those communities, even it may not even be government alone. We have people in the diaspora, we have people like, every community have people like in Lagos, in Abuja, elsewhere that, of course, that they are native from that particular community. Setting up a computer lab and all of that is not something that requires like billions or millions. Just maybe a community can do that. And that's what we want to even do with the current program. So that it will come to the grassroots, those kids will be engaged. So when they get the necessary training, and when you catch them very young, they have the potential to now develop. Like all this digital stuff is good, but most of the time, most of the people that are the beneficiary, the youth, they are at that particular phase when they're like, why I'm learning digital? Because I want to make money and all of. They might not really put much enthusiasm, much interest like a kid at the age of 10, now growing up with that kind of.
Fantastic, thank you very much. I think I like this. At this junction, you have said it all. How best the federal government, the African leaders can key into digital technology so that we can take Africa to the next level. That's the only way we can compete effectively in the
must do it fast.
And we have to be fast.
Because those people, they are not waiting.
We have sense of urgency. So enough of investment, enough of investing in parties, enough of investing in consumption. We need to invest in human capital development through digitalized means. That's a very good one. In one word, what advice, one word, one sentence or two max, do you have for Africa youth?
Okay, that we can take our continent back, and the only way is to be proactive.
Thank you. We can take our continent back, and the only way is to be proactive. Good one. Thank you very much. At this junction, we'll be running up this program. We are having in our midst the digital guru. This is NasTv Africa. Kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, NasTv_Africa, and follow us on our social media handles, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. So we see you next time. NasTv Africa, manifesting Africa's greatness. Thank you.